Hey Aquarius, welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your reading for April. You are starting out the month in the Queen of Wands energy, which is a really good energy because it tells me that there's determination, there's a passion in you, there's a drive and a rebirth and a renewal. There's something that that you're attracting towards you at this time. Whenever you're in a Queen of Wands, you know, that's the feminine form of the fire sign. So that's your ability to attract things to you. And you're attracting things to you at this time. And I think it's with the intentions of a change of fortune. Wheel of Fortune in your hopes and dreams. So that tells me that you're hoping to change the outcome of an event. And clarifying the Wheel of Fortune is the Frog card, the card of cleansing and new beginnings. In your subconscious, in your fears, is the Lovers in reverse. So, although you're appearing in attraction mode, full Queen of Wands, beneath you is the Lovers in reverse. And the Lovers in reverse talks to me about the balance within. And there may be something going on in which there's a lack of drive. The Queen of Wands is the energy that you attract things to you, but the masculine energy, which you may be lacking at that time, is the energy to go out and do the things, the drive, the accomplishments, cross things off of your to-do list. And I feel there's a drain in energy, almost an exhaustion, and a feeling like you're just going to let things come to you, maybe without doing the work. And it appears in your past Two of Cups in reverse, the Wands in reverse. There's some kind of a connection here. Now, this could be a person, a love interest, a friend, a child, a boss, a parent, you know, whatever it might be. It's a relationship that, too, is out of balance between the masculine and the feminine. And although the Tower card in reverse could mean that there was an ending, because the Tower in reverse usually typically means it already occurred. Whatever was supposed to occur has already occurred. If there was a moment of somebody up and leaving, it happened. But I see an amount of ambition and drive towards this. The Chariot, and this is where things get really interesting, but the Eight of Cups beneath it. So I feel like you may be giving the impression that you have far moved on from this obstacle in your life, and the Eight of Cups tells me you have moved on. The Eight of Cups version of moving on is a little bit different than the Chariot. The Eight of Cups has a somber walking away. It was a decision that may or may not have been yours. And the Queen of Wands was clarified with the stingray energy. This is often an energy of somebody making decisions or going after things out of pressure from others, maybe out of the idea of status, or it being something that your friends or your parents or your children would expect you to do. It's really making decisions to please others. And there always comes a time in your life where you need to stop putting others first, and you kind of need to step up into your own authority. Now, saying all of that, the environment is a magician, and it's clarified by the Hierophant in reverse. So, okay, true Aquarius style, I feel like you're breaking traditions here. You may have walked away from a relationship that was very meaningful to you, because you felt pressure from other sources or other people in your life to do so. And I think the Knight of Wands, this could represent your person. If you're not involved with a fire sign or, another person, if the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands aren't a pair, then that is actually your masculine side emerging, which is the side that you want to come out. That's the side that gives you the drive to do so. You see, because if you look at your astrology cards, you get the water element, which talks to me about the need to go with the flow. This is kind of a time in our life, and it's coming towards past area of this layout, where you kind of had to go with the flow. You sense your feelings. You had to start tapping into your emotions more than the lust and the drive that you typically use to go after stuff. And the Grand Cross, the provoker, it could have been this tower. It could have been a moment. The provoker is something that really, it's like an area of friction that, like a blister. And the more friction, the more it rubs up against it, eventually it breaks and it bleeds. But once that happens and it opens up, then you could pour some peroxide in there, clean it up, put a Band-Aid and heal it, which is what comes up next, is the Chiron. So Aquarius, I feel like whatever elements you're going through, a loss of a job, a loss of a relationship, a loss of a friendship, this is meant to catapult you into your power in a way. And I sense now in the beginning of April with this provoker energy coming through, now you're at a time in which you really have to face yourself, your contribution to this situation. That's what's happening for all of us in April, is we're kind of having to face ourselves. Jupiter and Pluto conjoining, and yours together in your 12th house. Well, I think you start to realize the ways in which you deceive yourself in situations. Seven of Swords is my card of deceit. Yes, it's my card of illusions. It's broken promises, people taking too much from you, taking you for granted. It's also where you lie to yourself, where you say things like, I got this, I'm fine, I'm not interested. In all of the ways that you sell yourself short. Now, it's a Wands card, so it talks to, it's a Swords card, so it talks to me about internally, your internal thoughts. And realizing now And I clarified this with the rabbit, okay? So this is really clear on how you self-sabotage yourself. And you're stepping out of this energy of being fearful. Fearful about what everyone else will think, what everybody else will say about the situation. It's finicky. It's scared. It doesn't make moves in power. It kind of makes tiny little footsteps, and then it looks around to make sure everybody's okay with what it's doing. And then it proceeds forward. And that rabbit energy is what you're leaving behind. Because you're realizing the Empress in reverse is what you're really contributing to situations, I think. Because you put in so little of a commitment, because you put in so little and kind of shallow investments here, you realize that you can't grow situations. If you attract, how do I want to say this? If you are continually attracting somewhat shallow relationships, things that tend to not grow into anything, there's no real emotions involved, no movement towards the future, it's probably a reflection. We have a lot of mirroring cards here. It's probably a reflection of what you're willing to invest in it. You may be, without knowing it, attracting people that are afraid of commitments because you internally are afraid of commitments. You may attract people to you that maybe aren't dependable. They might be flighty or aloof, whatever the situation is, whoever you keep attracting to you. And this could be in business and money as well. If you keep attracting jobs in which can be easily replaced, it's because you're not looking for the jobs. You're not looking for the one. You're not out there actively searching. And I think it's because you don't know what makes you happy, Aquarius. And how could you be in Empress form? Empress form is where you begin to create and you give life to everything that you touch. You don't need anyone or anything. All you have is your ideas and your inner strength. And you have the world at your fingertips. You want for nothing, you lack for nothing, and you're content. And clarifying the Empress in reverse was the Panther. And this is a card of annihilation. So that tells me, these two cards together, that in the month of April, you are going to see all the ways in which you sabotage your life, your jobs, your investments, your relationships, and you're going to correct them once and for all because you are determined for a new beginning. And I think what becomes crystal clear to you is that you truly do not know what makes you happy. There's so much confusion over what you want and what you love and what your expectations are. You don't even know what you want your future to look like because for so long I think you've relied on other people to paint those pictures for you. You may have been in relationships with others in the past who tend to choose the direction of the relationship, the partnerships where one person always picks where you're going to eat. One person gets to pick the house you're going to live in, or they pick the car you're going to buy. you may be very comfortable in this comfort zone of always being told what to do. And that's how you sabotage yourself. And this is a month of discovering what you truly love. Well, how do you do that? How do you find out what it is that you love, that makes you happy, that is sustainable to you as an adult, but also talks to your inner child? There's freedom, there's emotional support, there's a team. You know, this is what makes you happy. This is a true happiness. And you need to decide. And the way that you go about deciding that is with an open heart, is with kind of the getting to know and explore your more emotional side. And it's by the delving into your emotions, by opening up. Yeah. See, because you're going to make a decision about this. And this. And this. You're going to have to make a decision about what makes you truly happy. And I think you're going to decide to let go of that comfort zone. That comfort zone of everybody telling you what to do and where to go and how to do it. I think now is the time when you step out and step into yourself. And you this is really cool. You go about opening your heart and trying the new things, making the emotional offers. You begin to talk from your heart. You see, you go from a Queen of Wands, and although she's very determined and she gets things done and she's very passionate, she's not always the most emotional. You know, she could come off as cold and protective. And so I see that in a way you're softening your stance. And I'm tapping a lot into opening up to the child inside of you. Again, that water sensing, the going with the flow, breaking the karmic and overpairing ties with the Hierophant in reverse. And there may be an element here where you have to ask for help. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. You have to choose what emotionally serves you, and stop feeling like when you make these decisions, people are going to cut you out of their lives or leave you behind. That's really not how the world works, Aquarius. Honestly, you have got to stop worrying about other people's reactions. Now is the time to just worry about you and what you need and what you want. It's not about an audience, and you have to not worry about, if I want to be with this particular person, then I'm going to lose a group of friends, or I'm going to lose this status. You know, I don't know. You know, it's the same thing. If there's a job that you really like and somebody says something to you like, well, don't you think that that's really beneath you? Well, maybe not. Maybe it's something that you've always wanted to try, and you can't let other people's opinions dictate your life and your dreams. And once you abandon that need and you start investing, like you really invest in yourself, this is a slow moving energy. So it's like making the plans step by step. I mean, I really like this because a Page of Pentacles, the Page of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, this is all about new beginnings. There's newness to this. Even if you're bringing back a relationship that was broken up, or a friendship, you know, and changing the cycle in it, even if that's what's happening, it's from a much lighter tone. It's not nearly as heavy and as critical, and you're not nearly as afraid of it. because you're doing that healing. And what happens is when you start to invest in yourself, when you start to believe in yourself, the new opportunities come. The new jobs, the new offers, the new, even if it is a relationship that's starting, it starts on a really healthy foundation with good intentions. Not loaded down by these fears and the negative and the shadow side of yourself. And then you're not attracting things that you regret being in later. Okay, and then your cards, your work your lights, boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Well, yeah. I think the opinion of others. I think the need for the fanfare and the acceptance, the need for acceptance. That's the boundary, that you have to be okay on your own, that you're going to be okay, and that, this life isn't about anyone else and their comfort and their happiness. It has to be about you. And Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. When you do this healing, you find yourself again. That's kind of the Page of Cups. There's a brand new you emerging, and they're lighter, and they're less scorned, and they're less opinionated and hurt and raw and more open, more lighthearted. So there really is a learning to stand out and be yourself and to not give in to the fears and the opinions of others at this time. And if you are dealing with that, you've got to turn it around and just stand up for yourself, Aquarius, because I think water element, that's sensing, there's an intuition there. You know what's right for you. You know what feels right for you. And most likely you'll realize, little by little, you'll realize that when you start to make your own decisions and do the things that feel right, even where you expected backlash or, upsetting other people or people giving you their opinion of the matter, I think you may be pleasantly surprised. You may actually find out that people are really proud of you for being who you truly are. Maybe all of the pushing and prodding and trying to give you all the advice, it probably came from a really wholesome, good place. You may have been in the habit of asking people without realizing it. I think we do that a lot. We tend to open up and ask, what do you think? And then we take those opinions to heart. And then we realize we never really took the time to figure out how we felt about it. And the decisions that we made came from the opinions of others. And we find ourselves stuck in situations that we don't particularly want to be in. And we probably knew it the whole time. New beginnings are coming, Aquarius. New beginnings are absolutely coming. The second that you choose yourself. The second that you let go of your need to control, of your need to dictate others as well. If you are somebody who is often controlled by their circumstances and their people in their life, well, you may not realize how controlling you are. You may not realize that you do that to other people as well. Again, I'm just saying, I'm getting a lot of mirroring cards here. The Lovers, the Two of Cups. I see this energy as, what you give out, you're going to receive back in relationships, in connections, in anything that you do. And that really is, the Magician overall, it is what you are manifesting. You're realizing that you are manifesting exactly what's in your mind, and you've got to get it cleaned up. If you want to change your wheel of fortune, if you want to change your destiny, if you're not happy with where you are in life, then you have to break all of the chains that bound you to it. You have to clear out all of the stuff in your head that tells you can't, you're not capable, you're not good enough. There's a healing that takes place, and then it's a clean road to wherever you want to go. So it's a really big month for you, Aquarius. You're stepping into your power and determining what makes you happy and finding the drive to go out and get it. That's a pretty impressive month for April. I hope you take care. I hope you stay healthy. I hope that you are not... If you are quarantined, that you have a way to make special connections with the people that you love and to stay in a good place mentally. And I'll be checking in with you throughout the weeks. Take care, Aquarius. Bye.